Now, we just heard from Bill Thompson a few minutes ago saying 3 more weeks. You can see his daughter there, Kiara, introducing him. Dante also on the stage. Let's listen in.
He has taught me that although some people may doubt me, I will pave my own road to victory. He has taught me to stay true to myself and practice my beliefs without fail. And my father is not just a great human. He's a great public servant and a great activist. Yes, indeed. And after 18 years of being surrounded by politics and activism, I have determined that his success in this campaign has relied on 3 main things. The first was awareness. When the first poll came out after my dad announced his mayoral candidacy, he didn't even have 10% of the vote. Many people, friends and enemies, said that he didn't stand a chance. But here we are today. As more and more New Yorkers found out who he was and what he was about, it became clear that he would be a bold representation of the wants and needs of every one of us. That's right. The second crucial factor was a collective desire for fundamental change. Of course, many politicians have been elected to perpetuate the status quo, but we are living in a time in which an unsustainable body of beliefs is uprooting our strong foundation of equality. In my humble opinion, every vote for my dad represents another voice saying, enough is enough. And the extreme capacity for hope in this city is why I'm standing here tonight. Which brings me to the last crucial factor. People say that my dad wouldn't be here without his family. And that's true. But our family is not just the 4 of us. Our family is every staff member, every volunteer that contributed their time and energy, everyone who voted, everyone who told a neighbor or a friend, everyone who helped along the way. That is the family. The work will be over soon, but we still have a ways to go. And if we do our job right, our family of 8.4 million will reunite, and nobody will be turned away. So, without any further ado, the man with the plan, Bill de Blasio.
Sheba, I think his secret weapon is also Chiara. Dante did a great job at the commercials, but Chiara was adorable.
Yeah, Kiara, she has been away at college, and so we haven't seen her much on the campaign trail, but she's back cheering her dad on and trying to finish the work that Dante has started.
Yeah, he's got a formidable campaign team right there with his arms around them all. The de Blasio family. And Bill de Blasio, who currently is on the threshold of not having to face a runoff, of winning the Democratic nomination for mayor outright tonight.
And just look at where he chose to have his campaign headquarters tonight, in Brooklyn. Well, all the other candidates are in Manhattan.
First of all, I'm so proud of my daughter. To the people of New York City, I say thank you. To the people of my beloved home borough of Brooklyn, I say thank you. And I say thank you, and this one is a long time in the making. Thank you, my fellow Democrats. To each and every one of you here tonight, From those who knocked on doors to those who made the phone calls and those who made sure their neighbors voted, to all of you, I offer my love and my gratitude. And you have even more in terms of what I feel about you. You have the knowledge that I'll never forget what you've done, because you made this campaign a cause. You made it a cause, and I say thank you for elevating it to that level. There are so many great leaders, so many organizations that helped us to build this victory. And I am thrilled to say they are too numerous to name. But a lot of them are standing back there, so give everyone standing here a round of applause. I want to thank two people who spoke earlier, and both of them deserve the title of architects of this campaign, Cynthia Nixon and George Gresham. Thank you. Two dear friends who guided me and advised me through thick and thin, Ambassador Patrick Gaspard and Nick Baldick. Give them both a round of applause. And I want to thank Bill Hires and Emma Wolf and the greatest the greatest campaign team ever assembled in the history of New York City. But I especially want to thank the three most important people in my life. My partner in all I do, my best friend in the world. She is strong, she is smart, she is compassionate, and I believe she will be the next First Lady of the City of New York, Chirlane McCray. And no father could ask for more. Literally, no father could ask for more than these two kind, compassionate, smart, good, exemplary, inspiring young people, Chiara and Dante. Chiara, in her enthusiasm, Chiara just attempted to touch the hair. Security was ready to intervene. I am so proud of this victory tonight, but it pales in comparison to the pride I feel in these children and in this family. But before I continue, I'd like to take a moment to remember the families who lost loved ones 12 years ago on a day of unthinkable grief and sorrow, which we commemorate tomorrow at Ground Zero. Despite all the pain and the loss we suffered that day, we also saw New Yorkers at their very best. The heroic first responders who didn't give a second thought to laying down their lives in order to save others. The thousands and thousands of New Yorkers who gave support to their neighbors, but also to perfect strangers facing the biggest challenge of their lives. we were reminded that day of a crucially important lesson, that the job of those of us in positions of authority is to keep our city safe, to be constantly vigilant, and to use every tool at our disposal to protect our people. But we also saw that day a united city, a city where we all gave a little of ourselves to help those who are so badly in need of support. In a word, New Yorkers left no one behind that day. No matter who they were, where they lived, or what their economic situation. That is the New York we know and love. And that is a way of life and a set of values we must rededicate ourselves to. And it's why we started this journey together nearly 8 months ago on a frigid January day. Remember that one? Just a short distance from here in front of our house in Brooklyn. That day we said that New York had become a tale of two cities. One where the very wealthy had not only rebounded from the Great Recession, but where life couldn't get much better for them. And we acknowledged that day that there was another New York, a New York where nearly half our citizens are living at or near the poverty line, where luxury condos had replaced community hospitals, where proactive policing had somehow slipped quietly into racial profiling, where too many mothers and fathers feared that their daughters and sons would never achieve the very thing we want most for our kids, that they get the education they need to pave the way for a better life. That day, we resolved to do something about this tale of two cities. To put forth a plan to give every child of this city the opportunity to reach their God-given potential. Now, gathered that January day was a small but dedicated group of New Yorkers, bundled up, but big of heart. And that day we saw a ripple of determination to chart a new way forward, to offer an unapologetically progressive alternative to the Bloomberg era. And when that crowd dispersed, it wasn't just the end of yet another political speech. It was the early stages of a movement for something bigger than ourselves, something that would transform the way we thought about our city and its future, something that spoke to our neighbors from every borough. Now, we set off on a journey to change this city, and tonight, before so many friends, I say this: what we have achieved here tonight and what we'll do in the next round of this campaign won't just change the view of how things look inside City Hall, but will change the policies that have left behind so many of our fellow New Yorkers outside of City Hall. Now, we know there's a long road ahead. Certainly that's true for this campaign, but also in the job we're seeking to do. We understand that making big change isn't easy. Never has been. And there are those who have said our ambition for this city is too bold. That we're asking of the wealthiest New Yorkers too much. that we're setting our sights for the children of this city too high, that we're guilty. Guilty, my friends, of thinking too big. Well, let me say this. We are New Yorkers. Proud citizens of the greatest city in the greatest country on earth. Thinking big isn't new to us. It's at the very foundation of who we are and who we've always been. It is essential to our character as New Yorkers. It's why this place is great. Now, in other cities and other towns across America, calling for those who make $500,000 or more to pay a little more in taxes, to fund universal pre-K and after-school programs for every middle school child, well, that might seem to be asking too much. But settling for the status quo isn't just too small. It's a risk that we as a city cannot afford to take. And policing policies that single out young people of color. A stop and frisk era that in many ways make both communities and the police less safe. That isn't a New York we can allow to continue. It's a risk that we as a city cannot afford to take. Allowing luxury condos to overtake our community hospitals and to squeeze out the supply of affordable housing. That isn't something we can allow to continue without a fight. It's a risk we as a city cannot afford to take. Now, I know that some powerful interests who have benefited from the status quo will not stand still. They will throw everything they have at us, doing whatever it is in their power to stop the forces of change. But we have come too far to go back now, my friends. And the future of the next generation of New Yorkers is too important for us to ever allow them to stop the progress the people need.
Bill de Blasio, who is well ahead in the Democratic primary for mayor tonight with 40% of the vote at last we looked, is wrapping up his speech right now or talking to the supporters around him, surrounded by his family as well. Interestingly, he began reflecting on 9/11, this on the eve of the worst day in the city's history. He began reflecting on 9/11 and the way New York responded to that as a tie-in to the theme of his campaign, which is that we should be helping everybody here. We left no one behind, he said, on 9/11, and that's the spirit that he wants to try to imbue in the city right now, segueing into his campaign theme that we've heard all along, which is the tale of two cities, and his attacks on stop and frisk and his desire to tax the wealthy to improve public education in this city. So Bill de Blasio, who is waiting to see if he will have to face a runoff with William Thompson right now. 97% of the precincts reporting, just 3% left. He still clings to that magic 40% mark. If he hangs on to that to the end, then he will not face a runoff. If not, he and Bill Thompson start a whole new campaign in 3 weeks.
It could take